Hey, boys and girls and parents, welcome to ELC's Literacy Night. We are going to teach you a little bit of information, and we hope that you learn some important things that you can use at home. And we cannot wait to hear Santa read his story. I am Miss Katie, a first grade teacher.
I'm Miss Taylor. I am in kindergarten.
And I'm Miss Amanda. I'm in pre-K.
Let's get started,
Yes.
everybody.
Okay.
All right. We're going to start with Miss Amanda.
All right. Well, welcome. And I'm so happy to be here with you tonight. I wanted to share a little bit of information about how important literacy is, even at an early start as young as pre-K. Pre-K is such an important start to your child's education. We are the building pieces that help develop your child and help them to be ready for kindergarten. In pre-K, we use a curriculum called DIG, and the literacy component that we use is called Literacy Circle. It teaches the student how to identify and listen for sounds of each letter. We also use rhyming words, which again requires the student to listen for the sound at the end of the word. Other things that we teach in there is we identify how many syllables are in each word. Then we also teach phonemic awareness, which requires students to break apart words and put them back together. We also teach them print concepts, which teaches about parts of a sentence like the capital letters. It also goes over lowercase letters, words, spaces, and punctuation marks. Pre-K also covers recalling parts of a story, and it puts it in order for what happened first, next, then, and last. And then we also cover the parts of the book like the front cover, back cover, spine, and the rows of authors and illustrators. So those are just some of the things that we cover in our literacy component of our day.
Okay, so it's my turn. Hi, guys. My name is Miss Taylor, and I teach kindergarten. And I just wanted to teach you a little bit about what we do in kindergarten on a daily basis. So things that I think that are very important for us to be able to get before we go to first grade. Listen carefully. I think it's very important to memorize a very, very large amount of high frequency words. On the kindergarten report card, kids are required to know 50 high frequency words, but I've also taught first grade, and I think it is a better strategy to know more than 50. So that way they can see those words when they see the story and just be able to read it fluently without needing to sound them out. So memorization of high frequency words is very, very, very important. Another thing that is very important is being able to identify their letters and their letter sounds. So start with that and then move on to your high frequency words. Also being able to identify the first sound of words. That is important because when you look at a picture and you see a puppy in a picture, and when you are reading your sentences and you notice that you don't know a word, but it starts with the letter P, then they can start to make those connections that they see a puppy and that this word starts with P, and they know that puppy starts with the sound P. So we start making connections like that. So knowing your letter sounds and knowing your letters and your high frequency words is very important. We in kindergarten use a strategy called ERLA. It is a curriculum that we use. And parents, you should be aware of this because we do send information about this home. Usually in pre-K and kindergarten, we start off in levels purple, yellow, and green. When you go to first grade, you start extending to blue and red. So that's where we want to see our students right now. Purple is read to me. Those students are not yet ready to move on to the yellow level. So we just read to them a plethora of books until they start getting a very good vocabulary. One why students are able to recognize the pattern of a story. Now, kindergarten stories are very repetitive. So when students recognize that a story has a pattern, then they become more fluent. That is one why. Two why is tracking. We want students to know that you read left to right and top to bottom. Once they can recognize the pattern and they can track, they are considered a 2Y. 3Y, students know the tracking, the pattern, and they know their letters, their sounds, and they can make the sound for unknown words. And then when we move to 1G, then they start recognizing those high frequency words. To enter your 1G, you need to know at least 25 high frequency words and your letter sounds, and you need to be able to read a 1G level book. To go to 2G, we need to know 60 high frequency words and we start adding in more. So I wanted to show you just how to access this when you are at home. We have a website. It is called Clever. We send home information how to log into Clever. When you go to Clever, you can access your ARC bookshelf. This is the icon. This is what it looks like.
Let me interrupt Miss Chelsea for 1 second. So guys, whenever your teacher should have sent you home a badge. It looks like a little QR code. And once you get that badge, whenever you open up your Chromebook, they're gonna bring a camera up and it's gonna want you to scan your badge. Parents, you probably just did this to log on. So once you do that, that is when it brings you up to this page called Clever, where you can find all your information that you need. So that's how Miss Chelsea got to the ARC bookshelf. It's gonna be on your child's Clever page that pops up right when you get onto your Chromebook.
Exactly. So for example, here's my class. And I assign different apps. You can click, I have iReady, I have the ARC bookshelf, I have all my Google Class, but all you need to do is just click right on it and it's going to open up the bookshelf. You have access to all of these stories. So if you know your child's reading level, you would just click on it and then it brings up a plethora of books that you can use at home. So for example, if I know that my child is still in the yellow books, I would click on that and I would be right here. So let me show you a little bit about what I mean about a repetitive pattern. So this is at the beach. You would flip up here. It tells you your levels. It tells you what you expect from a 1Y reader, a 2Y reader, and a 3Y reader. Okay, so you're going to continue to flip. Look at this right here. Usually the teacher reads the first 2 pages and then the children continue after that. So I would say, I see waves at the beach. The student sees the picture of the waves. They see that this word starts with the letter W. Waves. W. They can make that pattern. I see umbrellas at the beach. They see the umbrellas. They know it starts with the U, so they know that unidentified word. I see shells at the beach. So you see the shells, and now you can kind of see how the pattern is repetitive. So now at this point, the child could see the pattern and they know that it's going to be I see blank at the beach. So they can continue reading it. So a 3Y reader, they might look at this picture and say, I see ladybugs at the beach. That's the difference between a 2Y reader and a 3Y reader. The 2Y might say ladybugs, but the 3Y reader knows their consonants. They know that these are bugs. They see this word, it starts with the letter B, and they know that it's bu, so they know it cannot be ladybugs. They would say bugs. So just giving more examples, and we would turn the page, and we would continue, and we would continue. And a good strategy is to recall the story once it is finished. And that's just how you access your ARC books, guys. Very good strategies. Miss Katie, you want to go ahead?
Yes. All right, guys. So kind of going off of what Miss Chelsea and Miss Taylor and Miss Amanda just said, Miss Katie's going to present the unravel strategy. With now that we have our readers in first grade, we are calling these passages a cold passage because it is a read that the children see for the very first time, and they read it and they're expected to answer questions on it. So one of the strategies we use to be able to figure out to figure out a cold read in our answers is the unravel strategy. Those of you who have children at primary, they definitely use this strategy, and in first grade we try to incorporate it the best we can. So unravel says UNRAAVEL, unravel. There's a song and there's movements that we do to help the kids know what part we're going to be on when we're on it. So U stands for underline the title. So then we go look at the title and we say the title of this story, it's going to be in bold at the top of the page. So the jolliest elf. Okay, so now we underline our title. Then we go, now predict the passage or the story. So now we're going to think about what the story, we see a picture of an elf. We see the title that says the jolliest elf. Without reading it, what do you think that story might be about? It might be about an elf, obviously, because we see one and we see the word elf. And jolliest, we can maybe discuss with our partners, like what the word jolliest means. It might mean happy. So maybe it's a happy elf. So then we predict what we think the passage is going to be about. We don't read it. We're just predicting. We're kind of guessing. So run through and number. So each line is going to get a number. So this is line 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So there are 8 lines in this passage. And the reason why we number each line is because we need to see, like, if I go back and look for my answer in the passage, there's a lot of lines I might get confused. So if I number my lines, I can say, I found my answer on line, what was that? Oh, it was on line 2. So now I know I'm going to go back in line 2 and I'm going to look for my answer because I know it's somewhere at the top. And then, are you reading the questions and are the important words circled? They kind of go together because they're both A's. We do them at the same time. So, are you reading the questions? So we're going to read the questions, and when we read them, we're going to say, are the important words circled? So we're going to, sorry, I'm kind of out of the camera. We are going to circle the important words in there that are going to help us answer that question. So the first question says, yeah, perfect. Miss Chelsea's going to go underline it for us, guys. Okay, so what toy did Maggie Jingle complain about making? So we're looking at that sentence and we're saying that one of our words, our question words, is going to be mostly the first word we have in the sentence. So what? So normally we always circle what because we know. No, it's okay. So right here, we circle the word what. I don't have the tools to edit it, huh? No. We circle the word what because it is a question word. So we know that when we're talking about the word what, we're looking for a thing. Okay? So what toy did Maggie Jingle complain about making? So what in that sentence is like really important that's going to help us answer that question? What toy did Maggie Jingle complain about making? So I bet if we're looking for Maggie Jingle, we want to answer the question, what did she complain about? So then we would circle the word complain. And then when we go back and read our passage, if we see that word or hear that word, we're going to underline it while we're reading. That way we can remember, oh, I think my answer is going to be right here where I underline my word. Okay, so we go do that for every question. And then venture through the passage. That just means read it. So now we're going to read it, and we always read 3 times when we do it in class. The teacher reads the first time. Then the students, they each can pick a time and they can read if they want to. And then we all read together. We choral read together. So we're going to venture through the passage. So we're going to read it. And by reading it 3 times, that gives us enough time to try to go back and find our answers. So on the second question, it says, what do you think jolliest means? So we're going to go look for the word jolly and means. Are we going to go look for the word jolly and see if we can figure out what they're talking about in those lines? And then eliminate. So this is not going to be used really on a cold passage. This is going to be used on your test where you going and you're reading your questions on the test and you're going through the answers and you're like, this multiple choice question, this answer doesn't even make sense. So if we're asking, what color is the red apple, and your choices are red and blue, you're going to eliminate the blue answer because we know that it just said a red apple and blue cannot be our answer. It's a silly answer. So we're going to eliminate our silly answers. Okay, so it kind of helps our brain to only see a few things at a time. And then let the questions be answered. So now we're going to go back and we've done all of our strategies. We've underlined our title. We predicted our passage. We numbered all our lines to find our answer. We circled our important questions. We read through all of our questions. And then we read our passage 3 times. That way we have enough information in our heads. And now we're going to go and answer the questions. And so we should have enough information to be able to get all of these questions right, or most of them right. We should know where our answers are in the passage, and we should kind of know what we're looking for as we go through the passage. And so that is just the unravel strategy. You can use it on any test. You can use it on math too. There is an unravel math strategy, but we just use the unravel reading strategy for now because it's kind of a lot to remember. So that is our unravel strategy.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoy story time with Santa. Thank y'all for joining in with us, and we can't wait to hear all about your time tomorrow.
Make sure you blow your hot chocolate before you drink it. It might be hot.
Enjoy, guys.
Bye.
Bye.